Content warning. Cursing. The dream.
So my name is Bryanna, and we are at Rocky Lake Cabin near Kedgie. It's a really snowy, kind of cold morning, but the sun is coming through the pine trees. It's really beautiful. I slept okay. It was nice and cozy, but I woke up a lot because I was sleeping on a crazy creaky bed. So I intentionally remembered my dreams because it was so segmented, obviously. And my first one that I had, I was living in a house with a friend. I can't remember who the friend was. But this woman who used to be, she used to be like this woman in the neighborhood that was a very conservative religious woman who is my sister's friend's mom. I haven't thought about this person for so long. She was living in the house for some reason, or like a housekeeper. And I found out that my friend found out that this woman read through her diary. And I was just like, oh, that's so typical of her. And she, so she came to the house and I just like went off at her. And then I went home and I had found out that my mom had done the same thing with my computer. She went on my Facebook account and like posted something on my Facebook and read through everything on my Facebook. And I don't know if I thought about her because it's my mom's birthday today, but I took the computer and I smashed it on the ground and threw it at her. And then like moved out of the house. So that was the first dream that I remember. It's strange, but maybe indicative of something.
What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? We're back on the surveillance theme right away.
Yeah, but okay, so this one, some extra context for this, which I don't know if maybe she described this to you, but, and maybe just telling details about Bryanna's life. I don't know if she's chill with that, but, so she just moved into this house with a friend.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The house and the friend has just bought the house from a woman who died in the house.
Oh.
I think, and the way the house is decorated is like super pink, like flowers, like just very traditional, like old lady style of decorating. So I feel like the first woman, conservative woman, her like sister's friend's mom.
Yeah.
Is just standing in for the dead woman who's like a ghost watching what's going on in this house that she has recently vacated.
This is a whole other level than I would have imagined. Because I know about the house that Bryanna moved into, but I didn't know those details.
No, I mean, I only just was talking to her like the other day about it and learned, because she was showing pictures of like how it looked and like because they've been renovating it and like
so she's just being haunted by an old lady ghost.
I think so.
And the old lady ghost is watching everything.
But also she's like feeling very empowered, obviously, to be like, no, like my space, which I think is how you kind of have to be. Like, if something's going to haunt you, you can't just be like freaked out by it or like you have to just be.
You seem to know a lot about how to respond to hauntings. Tell me more. I want to know how to be, because I genuinely feel like maybe I'm haunted. Tell me how to
responding in fear.
Yeah.
Or resignment is not useful. It's going to be enjoyable for you.
Yeah. Although I will point out that I feel like in the second part of the dream, where it's about her mom, her response, not conducive to like anyone's well-being.
No, it's not.
Smashing the computer doesn't help Bryanna. It doesn't help the situation. Like, what's that about? Why is she smashing the computer?
Yeah, that's not great.
Like,
there's a lot of anger.
It is. It is a lot of anger. It's like, that's the kind of thing that one does when there's a bunch of stuff pent up and then something is a tipping point. It's not about that one instant.
No.
You know, it's like, that's the feeling of like, this is the last straw.
Yeah.
So like, is Bryanna being haunted both by the old woman whose house she now lives in and also many overbearing older women in her life?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. It could be just like that feeling that that you are being meddled with.
Yeah.
Is that, I think that's something that's very prevalent.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, yeah. People getting into your business.
And also, with her mom bit, like, her mom's, like, going onto her Facebook and she's not reading her Facebook. She's reading it. But she's posting as though she is Bryanna. Like, that, I feel like maybe is just that, maybe that's also just being sick of social media. And, like, maybe she's being sick of even herself, like, posting.
Like, she is her mother.
Yeah, she is her mother. And... and then so smashing her own laptop does kind of like, that brings it back, like cutting herself off from behaving that way.
Yeah.
Spending too much energy, like looking at it and
it being a false representation. It's like, it's not real you who's interacting on this platform. It's the demon ghost older woman who haunts us all.
Yeah.
It's,
But this is also just the way that I took that. So
yeah, I mean, okay, in this stream, do computers have the same symbology that we created in a past episode for phones? Like, are computers also our souls? Our connection to the other. It somehow feels less intimate with a computer because you don't carry it around with you and cradle it like you love it.
It's also bizarre that she would even be like, I feel like nobody is on Facebook on their computer. Everybody's on Facebook
far more rarely. Also, I feel like Facebook even is fading out of all of our lives, It's like, she didn't even say Messenger. She said Facebook. And then somebody posted. It's like, and I still, I am of a particular, demographic. And so I do still sometimes post on Facebook, but it feels like it feels like I'm a dinosaur when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, is anybody out there?
Yeah. But also, living rurally and interacting with a lot of, middle-aged women who also live rurally and middle-aged people. And also, like, that is the community message board for a lot of rural places, including the one where she was recently living.
True.
So I think Facebook has, like, a stronger presence in your life if you live in a place like that where it has more social relevance.
Also, she briefly said, it's like when she takes the computer, smashes it, throws it at her mom, then she moves out. Like, she almost says that as an afterthought, but that's pretty significant.
Yeah, it's like, and then she's moving out of her mom's.
Well, I know, there's a tangled, it's like, where does she live? She's living in the other place first, but then she leaves the other place after she, rips into the housekeeper / friend, the older lady.
Yeah.
She goes to her mom's house. Her mom has done this. It's like she lives everywhere and nowhere in this dream.
It's like her friend is her, and the sister's friend's mom is her mom, and she's also her, and her mom is her mom, like she just did
everything
this in
is
two
just
different
everything.
She just did the exact same scenario with two different mediums and two different like people,
which is what hauntings are like. Okay, let me back that up. I've been thinking about how I'm haunted in the way that I have terrible night terrors, and that feels like being haunted. But then also thinking about how night terrors are a symptom of, trauma on some level, I think. And how trauma is also a form of haunting. It's like things, are living in your body that aren't helping you. And I've been thinking about how trauma, particularly in interpersonal relationships and attachment trauma, how it it kind of like takes you over like a demon at moments when it gets touched on in some way, that like the attachment demon that you carry with you from whatever your particular trauma is like waiting for an opportunity to map itself onto any situation that approximates something that it's like, I can fit here. And then it's leaping out of you and forcing you to behave in ways, you know, obviously you still have agency. We're all accountable. You know, it's very important but the way you become accountable, I think, and to have agency is to start recognizing when the attachment demon is pulling your puppet strings. And it's this thing of feeling like you're trapped in a cycle. It's like, oh, every relationship, this particular feeling comes up at this particular point. This same dynamic happens every time. How is it possible that this same thing is happening with all these different people? Yeah. You know, at a certain point, you're like, it can't just be them. It's something that I'm doing.
Yeah. So this dream is just kind of illustrating that, like, the repetitive nature of these, like, frustrating interactions.
Yeah.
And
it's your demon.
And that it's, that
it's the demon ghost that you carry with you.
Yeah.
And it just infiltrates everything. And then you end up living the same thing over and over again, but in these different environments, in these different situations with different people. And
in the situation, it's like about having personal, like hiding, it's like somehow hiding or keeping like private personal thoughts or interactions, or keeping that and having to keep that feeling, having to keep that separate from
I guess
some other people in your life.
It's like there is the level that we all understand of like, obviously you don't want anyone to read your diary, you don't want anyone to like go into your social media and post things or read your messages, but it's also the thing of like, you're obviously keeping things separate from the people around you.
Like there's some kind of division. Well, which like
we all have. We should all have that. And then that's getting, that boundary is getting broken down. By an older woman.
Specifically. Again and again.
Again and again. And then, you know, and as you said, she takes a stand every time, but it's like, how productive is the stand if you just end up in another environment where the same thing happens?
Yeah, because you're leaving. Like, the first situation happens, and then it's like, oh, also she's like, oh, typical.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's kind of, it's not like, these are not the only two examples. Like, that is just what always happens.
Yeah. And but it's funny because she said this isn't somebody she's thought of in years. It's like, but within the dream, she's got this narrative that this is typical of this person.
Yeah. Or of this type of person. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder... Well, I'll be curious to hear it from Bryanna, whether she feels the presence of the dead woman whose house she lives in, following her around, reading her diary, reading her Facebook messages. Is that how you feel, Bryanna?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't feel like when we were talking about it, she really didn't seem like... I was like, I think she's sleeping in the room where the woman died. Wow. And I was like, I could not do that. You know, that's too... creepy. Yeah. Like, the person who bought the house did not choose that room. Yeah. It's the master bedroom. Probably because they're like, I don't want to,
I don't want to be occupied by that demon ghost.
Yeah. Chose wisely there.
Yeah.
But she just completely didn't seem like
not
worried about it at all. You know,
this is the thing about Bryanna in general, is she is one of the most easygoing appearing people that I know. Really.
Yeah.
Like, to me, she appears entirely unruffleable.
Yeah. It's like,
but I've also, you know, it's like I haven't spent that much time with her. But the time that I have spent, it's like, really, that's how she feels. She feels chill.
Yeah.
And even when she's describing this dream, it's like, you know, it's like the woman reads the diary. She's like, oh, typical. Yeah. And then it is interesting to me hearing her describe taking the computer, smashing it, and throwing it at her mom. I think that that's particularly shocking to me coming from Bryanna.
How not like that she seems.
Yeah.
Maybe, and that's maybe another thing. It's like this, you don't express how, it sometimes can be very hard to express like how frustrating things are or how difficult things are to people that aren't super close to you.
Yeah.
Like, it's way easier to flip out at your family than it is to flip out at like people, your acquaintances or even your friends. Like,
yeah. True.
And so maybe she's reserving. Like, maybe she's had a lot of really frustrating experiences with invasion of privacy and that sort of thing, but wouldn't, in context where it would never be.
Yeah.
Like, she would never feel like it would be appropriate to express, like, the extent of her frustration.
Yeah. And also that feeling of like the straw that breaks the camel's back. Like she's chill, but maybe it's like in these kinds of things, like there's a tipping point somewhere and she's just describing it being like, it's fine, whatever. And then at some point it has to be too much and you have to do something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we don't know whether it's like she says typical, so it's like she's experienced this before, she expects it or something, but she maybe hasn't done anything about it yet.
Yeah. Or maybe it wasn't even to her, she just knows it.
It just doesn't surprise her that this person would be that way. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. What's the solution? I don't think she should have smashed the computer.
No, that does seem counterproductive.
But I guess she should have like taken her computer, packed it up carefully, and left the house.
Yeah. I guess it's just like a warning of acknowledging frustrations before they reach that point.
Breaking points. Yeah. And it being reasonable to have boundaries and it not okay for people to be like, you know, it's like both of these situations. It's like, it's really clear to me that it's not okay that the woman read the diary or that her mom is doing that on her Facebook.
Yeah.
There is something that needs to be dealt with there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the repeating cycle. I don't know. Because the first way she dealt with it seemed fine. It's like just telling the woman that she did something wrong and leaving. That seems okay.
Yeah.
But then she ends up in it again. So.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe you need an exorcism, Bryanna.
Yeah.
Maybe we all need an exorcism.
An exorcism of the invasive people from our lives.
Yeah, and our trauma demons that plague us all and trap us in never-ending cycles until we somehow figure out how to do something differently.
Yeah.
So, tell us if you solve that one.
Yeah. Well, keep us posted. Good luck. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. Help us keep making this by subscribing to and reviewing the podcast wherever you listen to it, and following and liking us on social media.
If you love this, you can support us on Patreon.
We will reward you.